round table night.
Be down there Saturday by like 7 a.m.
Wow.
I made a copy of it.
So I'm trying to
What he did on
organize as much as I can
mission in the
before I go.
Philippines.
That's supposed to
Free
be
those prisoners.
Is it?
in the 90s.
Oh, jeez.
I made a
Yeah,
copy of it. I
and
got
that's
the
just the
original
temperature, not the humidity.
Mammy, it don't work. So I'm gonna be swinging mine.
I think I'll read that for 4th of July.
Swinging mine.
That's something, ain't it? That's what you call living history. We talk about history.
Hi Becky, how are you? Well, those are
Good evening.
That was yeah, sure can, thank you.
I got me another guitar and I put a British flag on the back of it. And John said, why did you keep that British flag? Because it was that.
Let's see.
He always, John thinks that we always,
In the long run, we will.
you can't beat every clap.
I don't know how to adjust these chairs.
He's standing up.
I feel like I need to sit like this.
It's a real tall one up
Mine
there.
leans back.
I like it. Mine,
Yeah, me
I like mine's way down in there.
This is comfortable, but I just... Somebody say my name? Too high. That's all right.
There's a handle somewhere on it.
What's she doing? I know, but then with my luck, I'll be on the ground.
Hello there, how you doing? Good.
Work session for the 18th.
Hi Dave, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm gonna need your microphone.
After you're done. Oh. You went this way?
Yeah, that's true.
That way.
Courtney, everybody will hear you.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this
Time to start.
Packet there's for Andrew.
I forget my chair now.
is there a microphone down there for them to use? Or is down there reporting?
That's the thing is that microphone's not
I got
working,
new
so
pins.
you're gonna have to come up and talk to Becky.
Ah, okie dokie.
Hey Misty, you're gonna have to come up and talk on Becky's microphone.
And mine. You can,
Sure. No, we need for you to, for people to hear you.
Yes.
They want to hear her.
Good one.
7 bells.
Here.
If it strikes 13, the clock needs fixed.
Hi, Lowell.
Hi, Mitzi.
I didn't hear it. I was engrossed in my minutes.
No, that's fine. I'll call the Village of Mount Sterling Council meeting for June 25th to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you. Be seated.
my chair before I sit down.
Roll call, please. Ms. Bricker.
Tom?
Here.
David?
Here.
Rebecca?
Here.
Tammy?
Here.
Becky? Here. All's present.
Thank you very much. We have no executive sessions, so we'll move to approve the minutes from the council meeting we had on June 11th and approve the minutes of a work session meeting we had on June 18th.
You have that motion, sir?
Thank you. Second.
I second.
Thank you. Vote.
Question. Do I
Pardon.
have the minutes of the 18th in
Yes.
here?
Mm-hmm.
I do?
Yep. If not, I have a copy here for you. Everybody received it in their packet, right? June 18th?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody?
I don't have that.
Would you like mine? You can have mine.
Was that the one?
Should it have come in the plastic? Wait a minute, maybe I
Here,
threw it in
David.
the bottom.
It should be in.
I said, thank you.
Here you go, Lowell.
Probably do. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Anderson?
I'm fine.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
I do have those meetings. That leads us to department reports. Yes. Jack is not here tonight. Now I need a motion to accept, I have to do those separately, can't combine the 2 nights. So we're doing the 18th now.
I make that motion.
Thank you. Second? Thank you.
Who made the second?
Vote. David?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tommy? Tammy?
Yes.
And Becky?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Sure.
Thank you all. Jack's not here tonight. Is he on vacation or what?
Yes.
He's on vacation. And normally, I ask for the draw director, and normally his words are, I have no report. Are you going to surprise us?
No.
You have no report. I can see why. At quick notice. But we do have our utilities clerk here tonight, Mrs. Vance. I know you got a report, don't you?
Very small, but
Oh, okay.
just a couple of things to say.
She said you'd have to come up and talk.
Yeah, you'll have to come
I
up
thought
with
maybe
one.
you're just pointing at me there.
No, no, not at all.
So, like I said, just a couple of things to report. There is the Drinking Water Consumer Confidence Report out for 2017. And there will be a website link on the next bill that's going to come out for people to click on to go view it. But there are some hard copies here if anyone would like to view that. So don't everybody raise their hand at once, but they'll.
Got 'em made up.
Thank you all.
Andrew wants one too, he said.
Here you go, Andrew. There's more here if anybody would like it. And then also, I mean, there's a lot of things that we do that, you know, that's just in the background. A lot of, like, one little number takes a whole lot of time, as I mean, most of you know, especially the ones in finance. But I started putting together a spreadsheet that tracks all the payments that we get in. So at any time that we can see what, you know, if you want to know how much the sewer gets in, or the fire lines, or by month, by year. So I went back to 2011, and then I broke it down by months as well, so for every year. But right now, I mean, I brought with me, if anybody would like to see that, from monthly and year-to-date from 2018. I did bring that with me. Some of those spreadsheets are quite large. So year-to-date, already we've taken in over 4,000 payments. It's about $440,000. And so I projected around, with those figures, about just under $900,000 for the year, and about 8,000 payments. So, you know, that gives you a little more idea with it right in front of you how much now. And I plan on breaking those down into how much comes in as through checks, cash, and then credit cards as well, but I haven't done that yet.
Is this 89.5 or 890?
890,000. Yes, it just
Projecting
for the year.
oh, okay. Oh, so this is month by month.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And you, like, underneath there, that was the total number of payments received underneath each month. And the credit card payments, as I've spoke about the last few meetings, it was going to be done by Vital Check, but we're looking into the SSI system that we have, the utility billing, them accepting payments online. If we go through them, and I told them what we get charged, $2.75 a person. If you know, if they can make that happen, we would love to have it through them, because if people make payments online through them, it will go directly into our billing system, and so, you know, cut down some work from, you know, for me entering the credit card to printing out a report the next day, then putting the payments into the system. It will all be done just by uploading the report the next day. So they're working on that, and that's about it. Any questions?
Mitzi, I got one good report. One of my neighbors came over, and you explained to him about their water bill, how it can fluctuate, And he said they never had to explain any better than how you did that with him. And she said she was calm and didn't want to argue and got a good job. And you got a good compliment. And I said she just always does a good job.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, a lot of people, I mean, they didn't understand, especially when I first started. I think they had, they were more aware of what their bill was. They started looking at it. And so if they would go from, 2 units to 3 units and then back down to 2, they wanted to know why, because they would say, I'm not using any less. But, it can go up a unit just by using 1 gallon of water. It's ongoing.
He said you was so good explaining it to him, and he said, and I said, that's the way she is. I said, she gets the job done and gets it done right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Tell your neighbor I appreciate that also. Yes. Well,
What is West Water?
the West Water, that's a line over at, for Caheen. They put it in when they expanded. I've not been over there to look at it or to talk to them. I should know more about it, but I don't. I can get you some documentation on it, though.
It's what?
I can get you some documentation on it.
I never heard that phrase. Has anyone else?
I see it in finance all the time.
What?
I see it in finance all the time.
Is that the fire?
Yes.
That's the fire, isn't it?
For Caheen's, my understanding. And I did pull their book out, I don't know, it was a few months ago, just to start, I guess just to learn more about it. I haven't got very far into it. I don't know, why it was approved and what it's about, but yeah, we charged them for the fire, for the fire line.
The same thing with the fire line. What's the fire line?
Why they're separated out, I have a good idea, but I want before I say what I think, I want to be exact. So I'll pull the documentation and be able to explain it better to you.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's.
Anyone else?
Fluctuates.
Yeah, I heard about it months ago.
I hope everybody's in finance has heard it or seen it.
I have a question. So on May 1st of 18, was that supposed to be 2,083.56 instead of 2,083?
Well, it could have been 2,033.
Okay.
But it's that number on here is incorrect.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it looks like it, but I can't say yes for sure until I go back and check the figures.
Isn't there another factory in town that has a fire line? Is Caheen the only one?
It's my understanding Caheen's the only one.
I thought Wind Cup had.
No.
They don't?
I would have thought that the plastic plant would have had one.
That's what I just asked. Wind Cup, but I guess they don't.
No.
I just assumed they did. I don't know why.
And these numbers were set up by their by the ordinances that we have. I mean, it's not just they were charged that from 2015 at least, when the rates were changed.
Is this comparable to like what you said, like in 2011? Like your spreadsheet from 2011 to now. Is there a comparison of what was collected back then versus now?
Well, yeah. Are they similar numbers? Is that what you mean? No, not at all.
So there's a big
there's a difference
now than it was in 2011.
No.
No.
There's not.
There isn't?
No.
No. As a matter of fact, while she's working on this, she's keeping me updated. In 2015, what month did they raise?
2014, 15, and 16, they really increased. Really increased by about 1,200 payments in 1 year, which, we have 700 something customers. And it was like maybe around 600,000, something like that, in 1 year?
Yeah,
400.
400. They raised the rates 1 month, and the following month.
They raised the rates in 2015, and then in 2016, the money that was coming in went down.
$400,000.
So to compare the prices now, what we get in now to back then, I feel the numbers aren't reliable. So
they are
we
not.
don't know what is causing the big difference from?
I can't tell you in 2016 why they raised the rates in 2015 and the amounts coming in went down 1,200 payments for the year, but the price also went down over 400, about 450,000 for the year. So I have no idea. I don't know where it is, but I'm assuming it's been audited and taken.
Well, that's what they're going through right now.
Yeah, I mean that was it jumped in 14, 15, and then went back down in 16 after rates were changed, I should say. So I'm not sure why. I wasn't here then. I don't have any idea how that happened.
But we have historical data we can look at to see if there is something that jumps out.
Oh, I have the data. I have spreadsheets made up from 2011 broken down. I mean, you can see. I mean, there's even a graph that I made, and it just jumps right up those 3 years and comes back down. But since I've been here, last year it was around 88,000. I mean, 880,000 that we brought in, and it's right on target. I mean, we might hit, maybe 30,000 more this year. But it's still, similar, right around in that area. And also with the payments received and the number of payments we're going to get in. And it might go up around 150.
And to answer her question, no. We don't have a clue why it fluctuated. She does not have any documentation, any letters, notes. She's never found anything because I've asked that question. She doesn't have any idea. If anybody should have known why it was fluctuating, council back in 2011 through 16 should have known, or should have heard about it, should have noted it on the monthly report. But there's no documentation to why they raised the rates and it went down the following month. We have no idea what those people were doing in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still finding one customer that we got to get off the books, right? Because no one lives there or something.
No.
And then there's a house that was brought to my attention Friday. It's doubled, a number and a half. Well, the half is empty, but the other one, the half is paying the bill, but the water shut off. So I went over there and knocked on the door. I said, listen, she gave me that information. I said, I'll go find out what it is. Well, there's no one home. I can't get in there to see. Somebody lives in one half of the house, but the other half of the house the water bill's been paid, but the one that they live in is shut off. So that's crazy, stupid stuff that people did ahead of us. It's still out there, and
that one could be right. Maybe it's 1 meter for both places, or I mean,
yeah.
It's just
right.
We don't know because there's no notes, there's not an application. Right. So I mean, it could be right, but it's But
I'm just going to have to catch a guy there and insist on seeing his water meter or water meters. But that's hard to do sometimes. Try to catch somebody at home, or they may be in there. Thursday, I went out to check a water meter, and I could hear people talking inside, but they would not answer the door. So I came back and I told her. She said, not a problem. I'll call the manager of the place. They'll answer the door then. So we got that taken care of. But I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. And also, Jim from Catawba that was here last week, I'm sorry that I missed him, and I'm sorry I wasn't here. I was ill. It was the first one I think I've missed for quite some time.
Right.
I called him that next day, and he said, I don't have any idea what the bill was about. And so I said, can I have the owner's name and number? I'll call them. It's a property management company. In the system, there was no number for the owner, nor the property management that was in there was 12 years ago that they owned the place. But there was not ever a $5,000 bill, monthly bill. It was 2 months with a late fee. And so the lady was very thankful that I called her, and we took a little bit of the late fee off. And Jim apologized for any trouble that he caused, and I told him it was no trouble. And So all's well with that. And that's it. But Lowell, I'll get you the documentation and the reason for the West Water, so you'll have more understanding of it. We all will have more understanding of it.
Well, I've never heard of that until today.
Okay.
I've never heard it referred to as West Water. When you refer to the fire line, that's what you mean when you. That's the only thing I've heard. Huh?
It's referred to as Westminster.
Oh, I didn't know that either. So I just know it as a fire
Well,
line.
I'll be explained next week. How's that?
Okay.
Or next meeting.
All right. Very good.
Now,
Thank
you have $2,067 for June, and you entitled it West Water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who gave you the $2,067?
That would come from Cahing's bill that they get charged.
The bill's separated. So they'll pay part of their water and their sewer, and then this is an additional fee for that extension.
Okay.
That's
And
how
that
it's
goes
broken
into
up.
water operating?
Both the fire and
Go to our water fund?
Yes. Questions?
Okay, I have a question. Well,
Yes.
this report was generated by whom?
our water operator.
What?
Our water operators,
Okay.
yes.
Do we send this out to everyone?
Okay, so that was kind of, I was going to hit that on my
Okay.
update. But let me go ahead and start that. Okay, so the CCR report is the customer consumer report that basically shows all of the levels that were tested in 2017. So every year we'll be like a year behind. So this year, whatever we test in our lead and copper, it'll be reported for next year. This is actually something that's already up on our website right now, and all you got to do is click on it on our mtsterling.org. It'll take you right to the page, and then you can view that same report. It's also going to be, like Misty said, on your water bills for you guys to link to type into a link. That's going to take you as well. The EPA requires us to advertise it. Like she said, she'll have packets up there in the front for town hall, and then I'm also going to deliver some to the library.
Well, I noticed, I wasn't sure that there were 3 wells out here in the Mason Park.
Yes, those were
There
your
are
new
3?
wells at $850,000.
There are 3 there.
Yes, there are.
I wasn't sure about the 3rd one.
And you have 3 over here at the old water plant too.
And those wells are
Active.
active,
Yes, at the new water plant.
so we use those as 6 wells.
Correct. Yes. So once since the distribution has been shut off to the old water plant, obviously we're processing and operating through the new one. Those 3 wells over there have to be abandoned.
Understand?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. You need to be excused too, don't you?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're excused. Thank you very much. Is that your paperwork, Misty?
Yeah.
Right there on the counter? Is that hers? Oh, okay. Okay. What do you want to do first, village administrator
Yeah, let me
or
do my update. Can I have your mic
or
or
the
somebody's mic?
fiscal
So they can hear me. Oh my, we don't need 2 of those. Okay, so let's see here. Just to kind of give you an update on the audit and the auditors. I don't have to explain it, you don't need me to. They came in last week and sat with me for the last 3 or 4 days and was going over the other half of our physical emergency. So part of our physical emergency is making sure that the funds are in order. The other part of that is our best practices, which means that there are 3 ways they consider best practices, which means that are there controls over what I do? Are there controls over what the mayor does? Are there controls over what the council does? There are. So they actually go by ORC code. So ORC code says that when you process a purchase order, these are the steps you have to follow. So they're making sure that all of the changes, and this happened when Lowell was mayor, some of those changes that we passed legislation-wise for making better controls. So they're coming in here, they're scanning documentation, they do interviews. So they'll ask me what I do, they'll ask the mayor what his role is, and then they'll ask like the operators in Misty. Yep. So they'll explain the entire process from start to finish. So from the time they do something till the time that I get it and the time it, posts. So there was a lot that went on as far as scanning, copying, and things like that. So we should have something back, obviously within the time frame of our physical emergency of, comments and things like that. I also want to also make clear, and I'm going to place this on the website as well, is that if residents could check their bathrooms and make sure that if they are using flushable wipes, that they actually are disposable. Okay? Obviously, we all know if you don't use something that is disposable, it goes through our sewer line, and it actually just it cakes up our sewer plant. So they get attached to the screens, they get stuck in the motors and stuff. So I know I've noticed it when I was helping the guys this week, that I seen a lot of those unflushable wipes that are not being dissolved. So that causes havoc on our equipment and things like that. So please make certain, and I tell this to all residents, if they are disposable, please look in your bathrooms to make sure that they are. And if they're not, please do not discharge any other items within your toilet either, okay, that are not supposed to.
That means no goldfish?
Well, I do that.
And
Okay.
she said please, too, by the way.
Yes.
Andrew, when you put that in the newspaper, she said please.
I did say please.
Nothing but toilet paper.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
Some of the residents, you may have noticed that the guys were out flushing or vacuuming the storm drains with the recent rain. We just want to make sure that we're not, I know in one day I think we got, what, 2 inches of rain in that one rainfall that we had. I just don't want, I'd rather be preventative than to have somebody come to me and say, oh my gosh, my basement's flooded. So we're going to be getting onto a schedule where the guys will be out during certain peak seasons and vacuuming the sewer drains so that we're not seeing flooded roads. Obviously, we can't prevent that, but we could surely, help the situation by making sure that everything's unclogged and undrained. Also, I wanted to give a thank you to the Nazarene Church again. They had some of their volunteers come out Friday to clean up the gazebo area, pulling the weeds, trimming some of the stuff that we have there. They also cleaned up the points coming into town. I just wanted to thank them again that they've come,
Courtney, I can
come out
add
to
a little
clean.
extra to that for you.
Yeah.
All them students came from Nazarene, the Bible College right down there in Circleville.
Ohio Christian.
Some of them are for future ministers, and
Yep.
I was talking to 2 of them when Bill and I was out on the lawn there, and I said, this is the time you're getting close to the ground. He said, yeah, and he said I'm getting my hands dirty, and they were so great workers, and
Yep.
it's so great.
They sure were, yep. And the Nazarenes also going to be going out as part of lending a hand to the community. They're going to be going out during the tournaments that are here in Mason Park and handing out water, just because obviously the heat's going to be really hot starting Wednesday. So they're going to be going out there passing out popsicles and water. So if you see them out and about, they'll be at Mason Park when the tournaments are going. So I wanted to thank you for that. We also had the street sweeper out this week with Mr. Martin. He was running the street sweeper, and yes, we understood that there were some debris that was in the street. We now have gotten the street sweeper fixed, because obviously none of the residents have seen that in a while, because it needed to be maintenanced and updated and corrected and fixed, and a lot had to go on with it.
Yes, it did.
So we have also paid note to making sure that we can get that out regularly, like we used to before.
Yes.
So Mr. Mayor Martin has volunteered to do. I'm getting on that next. Okay, so the potholes. So I know this is a very hot topic, and I always do not like to say, oh, we're looking into it, we're doing this, we're doing that. So I know everybody and every resident wants to have an answer. And I have an answer as far as I have 2 bids that two contractors have went around town and analyzed the potholes, and they have given me their bids. And of course, I need to have one more. Unfortunately, the third one, the guy that came in last week, he passed away unexpectedly. So we, yes.
Died.
Whoa.
Good time to die.
Go ahead.
Yes, and so another gentleman has come in Friday to take over what he was going to be estimating as.
Who was the one that passed away?
Cox.
Yeah.
Paving. Cox Paving.
Yeah, in Circleville.
Asheville or Circleville.
Yeah. So there was another gentleman that came here Friday, and so he is now picking up his route. Because again, we want to stay somewhat local to our area. You know, we don't want to have a big, somebody in Columbus to come down here. We just want to try and see if we can get something local that might be a little cheaper. So I plan on to call him tomorrow. I kind of wanted to give it a day, just so that he could go around town, because this would have been a new person. So I had to give him the list and everything. So what's going to happen is once I get those 3 bids, I will talk to my chairperson for finance, streets, or however we're going to set that up, and we will be doing a meeting. So then we will be actually voting upon quickly on that, once you guys as council have been able to analyze it and review it. So that'll be something that we're not going to be waiting till the next council meeting in July. That'll be something that we act upon immediately. Okay, so
Well, the worst potholes is right behind you out there in the street.
I know.
If it's full of water, you really
Yes.
take a tumble in that
Yes.
Okay, we got the contracts, but there's a difference of opinion on how they should be repaired.
Yes.
Yes.
Being repaired properly is grinding off the top. And
Milling, yep.
Yeah, milling or grinding. State does it every day on blacktop highways. So we've got bids, and she's going to get some more, but the difference in them, in the bids, is they think that, like, this alley would probably be grind and re-blacktop, where another bid's going to cut it out, or maybe just fill up potholes. So you're going to find some discrepancies in these bills.
Yes.
But just remind yourself of the extent of work in one, the extent of work in the other.
Yeah.
So
because like we said, we don't want to band-aid it anymore. So if you put grinds in there, all it's going to do is wash out again once you get another rain. So we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly, so that we're getting what we pay for. And that means that we don't have to repair it come next year. So just be conscious of, like he's saying, how they're putting in these bids. Okay, so the health department, Jennifer, that's in charge of the health department there at Madison County, dropped off last week some mosquito traps. So she's given us an extra mosquito trap to place around town, which Tyler is going to be placing it around so that they can check to see if there are any. What they're saying the outbreak is this year is the West Nile. It's not the Zika or anything like that.
Not the other one like they had with that Zika, where they call it from last year. It's a different one.
It's 0 right now.
Yeah, so she gave us another trap that, is more operable. So we're going to be placing that around town. We also have the mosquito spraying Wednesday, so everybody should see that coming. I also have worked with Jack, again, Jack's not here, to make updates to the website, because I know it's been kind of lacking since we've been kind of busy with everything. I'm making certain that our minutes are updated and submitted to Jack so that he can place them on the website. So some of the old stuff that you're seeing on there, our apologies, we just haven't had time. We've been kind of communicating through Facebook a lot. You'll see me on Facebook, or you'll see us in the council meetings announcing some of those updates. So we're going to try very hard to make sure that we're updating the website constantly. Also, I wanted to thank the 20 residents that I've reached out to in doing the lead and copper testing for the water. That's also an EPA requirement. Now that we have the new water plant up and running, in the past, there were only 10 residents that had to test it. And what that means is that there are certain houses that are built between certain periods of time, between 1982 and 1989, that have copper piping in their house. So those, of course, as you can tell, it was very difficult for me to try and track them down. But I did. And thankfully, those residents that are between that time period have agreed to go ahead and run the testing for me. So basically what lead and copper testing means is that they have to have stagnant water with at least 6 hours. So usually when you go to bed, it can sit in there for 6 hours. And then the first thing they do, what they will do tomorrow morning, is to fill up a container that we've provided to them. I've actually dropped those off to everybody today. And they'll just have to collect a sample of water into these containers. And then, again, 20 residents, and there was just actually a bill that was passed that made us do 20. So before it was 10, and then it had different requirements. So this time it's a little bit different. So that's why it's kind of taken, you know, a long time to develop these tiers that we have. So I'll be collecting those, and Tyler and I will be collecting those tomorrow, and we'll be taking them directly to the testing lab. Those residents, if there is any findings or anything, they would be notified, of course, as well as the village would be notified of that. But we expect to not have any issues or anything like that. This is just a regular yearly testing. If you see some of the guys, Dennis and Tyler, they'll be around repairing some items on the hydrants. As you know, back in May, Chief Taylor and his crew had went out and flushed the hydrants. And as well as doing that, they also look for the maintenance of the hydrants. And there were a few, I think there was about 6 of them, not repairs of the like full hydrant repairs, but there were some things that, you know, he, you know, wanted us to be aware of, and that we'll be fixing those. So some of those supplies.
The one there by the Methodist Church, have they got that? What's been going on?
So yeah, so that was a low flow. I know Tom is going to be reporting that to his fire. Was it this fire committee? Yeah. So he's going to be reporting that to the committee. Also, everybody on council, we're going to be looking into that because that is low pressure there. So we would just want to make sure, of course, it's the village's responsibility to maintain those hydrants. And we just, there was a flow problem that there's no flow that's being processed. So we're looking into that as a top priority. So that's something that I'm working with finance on, and making sure that that gets taken care of. Also, I talked a little bit about the audit. They had placed another extension from our audit from 2013 to, I believe it's 15. That they're close to getting that audit done. So you guys as council will see that, as well as every resident will be available to everybody to pretty much audit those years. They're also going to be going right into 2016 and 2017 as well. So we should have something. They're very close, but they did another extension just in case, you know, something came up or something wasn't right. So it gives them enough time. But I think I'm done on that. Stop. So I will go into my finance reports.
Okay, that is your village administrator hat.
Yeah,
this hat on.
That's right. Does anybody have any questions on any of those updates? Comments, concerns? Questions? Okay.
No.
All right, so on to finance. If you take out, let's go do the payment listing first. So the payment listing, these were approved on June the 20th from our finance team. Some of the key notes on here, you'll see, let's see, Buckeye State Pipe, those were some of the repairs that we needed to have. That's a normal. Some of the stone that we needed, of course, as every resident knows, and everybody here on council, 56 and Jefferson had those holes, so we had to get some 304s delivered, and that was stone. So you'll see Melvin stone on there. Let's see, and you'll see some of the actual residents' names on here. Those are some refund checks. So as you know, we charge renters $150 water deposit, and then when they move out, whatever their bill is that they still owe, we'll take that out of that deposit. So you'll see some of those reflections there. And of course, I wanted to stray away from these ones, but those are our water loans. So $407,853.99 is your water and sewer every 6-month loans. So that's why you're seeing those large amounts there. But that's no surprise to any of us, right? All right, any questions on that?
Actually, it is. Up until
Well, yeah.
I became mayor, I thought that water plant was being built on a grant.
No.
There
was no
said
grant.
anything when they come to you, the engineering company, and Dusty and Joe and them, they didn't say we was gonna build that water plant with a grant? I thought it was gonna be grant money. Not one dime of it, grant money. That's what that loan payment is.
And you'll have that every 6 months. So we'll come
Until we
up.
pay off $6 million.
You have 30 to 40 years. And that's every 6 months. Every July and every December. Okay, on to better news, revenue status. This is a new report that I'm going to be including in your guys' council packets. I felt that you guys needed to see the revenue as far as what was budgeted versus what was brought in year to date. So I thought it would be kind of beneficial for you guys to look at on every line item. So you guys will have general fund, water, and so forth. So as we get into not only seeing expenditures, I do feel that it's important for you guys to see what kind of revenue is coming in. So if you guys have taken a gander at that, again, this is all kind of in another report. You just have to do the numbers. This way you're actually getting the numbers in one report.
You're talking about the revenue status?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Looks
And
good.
and yeah, and just an FYI, when we did our commission meeting, what is it? What was it? The 11th or 12th of June. We are actually exceeding what was budgeted for revenue. So that's a plus for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good news. So I feel that you guys kind of need to see this as far as you know, kind of where we're at, and it'll show you year to date. Okay, so the next one is receipt listing. These are the usuals, nothing that stands out as far as, you know, money has been, you know, processed to the village. Again, you see a lot of water and sewer payments because, again, the bills were due on the 15th, so that's when we start seeing in the middle of the month, you'll see a big you know, large bills coming in before everybody, you know, if they don't pay it on time, will hit a penalty. You'll also see the RETA that was posted back on June the 15th. And the Ohio Bureau of Workmen's Comp that you see there for $49, because we hold a good status with them, we do get somewhat of a discount or a refund. So you'll see that $49. And then, of course, I don't think there's a lot of lots left back on the Miranda homes on phase 1. So I think there's a couple more that are being sold back there.
Why are there deposits on 6/29 for $100.62 and then voided the next day?
Because I had those on wrong line items. I put them under the wrong account code.
Same answer then for
Yes.
the 13th?
Yep. Yeah, as we start switching these around, you'll start seeing my voids on there because we need to get them into the right codes. As we all know, and you guys have all seen on your appropriation statuses, that there are like double lines that are never being used, have been used in the past, they've never been deleted. So as you can imagine, when I go in there and I start clicking, they all start with the same number, and then it's kind of those last 4 numbers that get you. But we're hoping that once the audit comes out that I'll actually be able to clean those codes up. Okay, so on to your appropriation status. Again, the general fund, you will see at 90%. So who all that attended or maybe watched the commission meeting that we held on June the 12th, or maybe you've heard some of the, you know, us talking in finance, the 90%, don't be alarmed, because again, our average should be between, now that we're sitting in June, probably 45 to 50% of year-to-date expenditures. But as you can tell, there are an expenditure here for that transfer out for that capital improvement, the $300 and some thousand that we keep talking about almost every meeting. That's at 954%. So until the audit is completed, then we can start moving these to the correct funds and moving those out. So I'm hoping that we can get a cleaner version of the appropriation status, but until that audit is completed, they won't allow me to move or to clean up any of those. Water is right where we're supposed to be. We're at 44%. Again, a definite jump from last meeting, right? I think we were sitting at like 15%. So since we've had to pay those big loan payments, we're right where we're supposed to be though, as far as operating and expenditure. Sewer, the same thing. We're right where we're supposed to be. But again, we have loans that will be paid out of that as well. Okay. Any questions on those? Other good news on your cash summary by fund. I think that last meeting we were sitting at like what 200 and I want to say like 56,000 as a deficit.
Negative.
Yep, we are at a deficit of only 173,646. So that's great.
We're getting there.
Yep. That's really good. And like during the commission meeting, they said we are, kind of above budgeted on revenue. So that's really good that we've kind of predicted low, but we're moving right along on high. Okay, that's all I have to report for my reports. Does anybody have any other questions? Stop.
You done?
On the summary, I like that 173,000.
Isn't that good? That's really good. I'm excited on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just from last meeting.
Yep.
It's looking really good.
But the water operating is due to a $460,000 bill.
I know.
As long as, like Bill said, as long as we can pay them, I'm not worried about them. We're doing good.
Yeah, we can pay them.
Yep.
We have to.
Yeah.
We have no other option.
Yeah, because when you're under physical emergency, just to let everybody know, when you're under a physical emergency, you cannot defer payments. So it's not like I can call them up and say, hey, we're just going to skip.
The 6 months?
We're going to skip the 6 month. You can't do that. And nor can you allow another fund to go in a deficit.
Right.
And that's what, I guess, what I'm tracking right now and what's finance is tracking is we're looking very closely to that water fund because they're,
I know
loans
with
are being taken out.
I tell you, Rebecca and I and Tammy, we've been trying to watch every dollar too, and like I said, we've come a long way since everything. It's been a good, hard-working team we got. I'll tell you that.
And you're going to see a resolution in here that you guys will have in council. Again, you predict your budget on something that is 10 times as bigger plant than it is over in the older water plant. So we need to pay attention that once you go to bigger, doesn't mean it's cheaper. And that's what everybody's finding out now, is that there's definitely a debt. And that's what I'm looking at every day in that water fund. Not so much general, I don't really care about that anymore because I know we're going to be on track. But that water fund is making sure that we're making wise choices and
Chemicals, and we find the electric, and there's so much to run that.
yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Questions? Anybody? We're moving right along here. Committee report.
No, you have to motion for all my reports.
We have to.
Oh, I just checked that out.
Is there?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay, no questions?
Rita.
I need a motion to approve the appropriation status report.
How about motion, sir?
Thank you and thank you.
Okay, so David, Tom. Oh, who was it?
David Roll.
Well, I can't see. Everybody's talking so quiet. Okay. Well, I can't. Okay. And then your Rita ones you guys got in your last one because we had on the last meeting? Okay, so Mr. Anderson. Appropriation status?
Yes.
Okay. Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yeah.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
And Becky?
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the payment listing report you have in front of you.
I'll motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Vote.
Okay, hold on just a second, sorry. Okay, Lowell?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the receipt listing report you have in front of you.
You have that much, sir.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
Lowell?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the cash summary by fund report.
I'll make that motion,
Thank
sir.
you. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
Lowell? Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to approve the revenue status report.
Yes. You have it?
Thank you. Second.
Second
Oh.
it.
Thank you. Vote.
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
I'm going to change the order up just
I know
keep
you
y'all
are.
on your toes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Committee reports. Finance, Rebecca Burns.
Okay, I know that Courtney's already touched a bit on the finance. I thought I would mention the reason we keep talking about the 3 bids. Of course, that, right now is a requirement for the potholes that is of the greatest importance to us. So I know Courtney's working hard trying to get that 3rd bid, but it's also because once council accepts and approves one of those, it's going to come out of capital improvements, not streets. So it's just, we have the money in there that we want to be cautious in spending. And for the potholes, we want to make sure this is done correctly, like they were talking about. Right now, between the 2 that we have, it's about a $40,000 difference. So we want to be really cautious. So I'll be very anxious to see what this other company comes back with. And about the general fund, when we have our commission meetings, of course, it is about the ones that were in the negative when we went into a fiscal emergency. Moving Ohio Forward, we zeroed out a while ago, so we're good on that. And I really am, the general fund is on target with what we were seeing to get back into the positive by the end of next year. And just to see that the revenue is exceeding, we're hoping maybe even a little bit sooner than that. But that's what the focus is now with the commission, is just the general fund. The water fund and other funds that we are watching is not part of those meetings because those were in the negative when we went into a fiscal emergency. So I just thought I would explain that. And that's it.
Thank you. Pleasant Township, Becky Martin.
Nothing.
Nothing to report.
Nothing's new.
Thank you. The squad.
Yes, they did meet. We met last week, and they had an outstanding report from the state auditors. The audit report was excellent. They came in and did the audit within 2 to 3 hours, and Lawana was complimented on her ability.
Yeah.
And ever since I've been on the board, that's the kind of audit report we've had. We hired some people and we released some people by choice. Some people decided they didn't want to be volunteers or work with the squad, and so we released them, and then we hired some replacements. We put one person on temporary on full-time. So that's it. It's a good report.
Good. Fire, Mr. Ward.
There's nothing to report tonight. The meeting's not until Thursday.
Thank you very much. Water and wastewater, Rebecca Burns.
Okay, I'm going to combine that with streets because last week, a week ago Monday, we had a work session involving both of those. We've already touched upon, Courtney was talking about the fire hydrants and the ones that were low flow, which are definitely being looked into near the Methodist Church. We definitely want to get everything corrected. But that is still, I think, in the analysis part of it, but it is something the village is taking very seriously. And same thing like with the streets, with the potholes. One thing I thought was exciting, we did have a gentleman at our work session that did a short presentation. They're talking about the Miranda homes earlier, but he was talking about the phase, or he called it the section 2, the second phase of the Deer Creek Run subdivision. And I think what the potential is 47 new homes to be built, starting at $220,000, which I think is really exciting for the community as far as property tax. You know, you look at the taxes, you look at the RETA income, you look at the wastewater revenue, and that's just going to bring such a value to the community. So he did a quick presentation on this new one. I don't know any of the other details. Courtney probably would, but I was really excited to hear a new development or a continuation of a development coming into the village.
That's always encouraging.
Rebecca, speaking to that, you see on our receipts listing that Miranda Homes has 3 on the bottom there, so that's good news.
Yep. It is good news.
3 receipts.
Yep. That's it.
You can just keep.
Okay. Oh, Parks. That's right. Parks and Rec. Okay. Okay. We know Jackie's on vacation this week, but it's actually, I know they're having tournaments over at Mason. I believe at Mason Park also. The park looks so good. You can definitely see the results of all of his hard work. They look wonderful. There's been so many compliments about how Mason Park is looking. I know he's also preparing, this weekend is our Community Days Festival. Of course, Jack has been working extremely hard on the James Cotton football camp. That's going to be this coming Saturday. He was over at the Strawberry Festival this past weekend, giving out information because there's still, I think, some spots open for the older group, but not many. The younger group has been filled up for some time, but it's going to be a great event. There's going to be there is a Facebook page about all the events going on during the Community Days Festival, as well as you'll see flyers around town with the schedule on there. But I know he's working hard on that and on the parade, which is going to be at 5 o'clock next Saturday, line up at 4:30 on New Street. The participants and some of the kids in the James Cotton football camp, they're going to have a float, and they're going to be throwing footballs, little OSU footballs, to the kids and stuff on the street. So it should be like, I'm real excited to see this along with all the other participants in the parade. So we're just hoping for good weather, and I think it's going to be a great event. It starts Friday and goes into Saturday night, ending with a movie over at the community center, I think outdoors. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Record of retention, Mr. A.
No comment.
No comment. You have That's good. We're moving right along here.
Courtney and I are kind of waiting on the auditors so that we can throw them a spoonful and get it done. So we'll get you one of these days.
You're starting to act like Mark. No report.
We have a whole box full of stuff. We'll get you one.
All right,
just
thank you very much.
Hang in there with us.
I am. That runs us into what a nuisance and abatement.
Oh boy.
That committee can be.
Yes. We held a meeting Thursday, June 21st. We bumped our meeting up a week. We discussed some reoccurring issues with the parking that we're having in the village.
And we're working on that.
Exactly.
As we speak.
The committee came up with some recommendations.
Legislation tonight.
Yep. And also Jennifer from the health department came to the meeting. She discussed some of the mosquito issues again with the nuisance committee, and some of the houses and issues at the village.
Did they fog already?
Last
Once?
Wednesday,
Last Wednesday, yeah.
Last Wednesday? Must have been at night, or,
Yeah.
Between 8 and 10.
oh, because I didn't see them or smell them.
But she filled us in on some of the houses that she's dealing with. She also offered to attend our committee meetings on a regular basis or be a part of the committee.
Very good.
Lead us in directions
Wow.
if we can't do something about it, maybe the health department. So she offered to do that for us. We also reviewed some more complaints that we've had. It seems a little less is coming in, but sometimes it's the same reoccurring ones.
Yeah.
And Courtney and I are going out this week again and knock on some doors.
And what did you talk about doing if you can't get any response out of these people? Did you talk about that?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Okay. You don't want to talk about it tonight?
No, right now.
Okay.
But we're gonna go, we've got a couple complaints that we've got to check on. Some couple of them might go to the health department, but Courtney and I's going this week. And I especially want to thank the committee for all the hard work and helping, and Courtney for going door to door with me. I make her be the mean one. I'm not really. And our next scheduled meeting is for July 25th at 3:30. It's always the last Wednesday of the month, but if I need to, I will call an earlier meeting.
What's that date again, Tammy?
It's July 25th at 3:30.
July 25th, 3:30.
But if we have some issues come up or some other things we need to discuss, I will reach out and let the public and everyone know about the earlier meeting. And that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's going good. I've gotten a lot of complaints and comments, complaints that they probably never was able to voice before, you know, and now I think a lot of people are seeing that there's some big changes going on.
Seeing results, yep.
Did the nuisance and abatement committee address the pig question?
Yes, it was talked about, and no recommendation came out of the committee.
Okay. So, it's just still up in the air.
No?
No, it's dead in the water.
They recommended not to.
They recommend not to allow it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's done. The chickens are going, I understand, so everything's fine in the world. As far as nuisance and abatement.
Yes.
Yes. They're doing a good job.
Definitely.
It's a hard job. It is a hard job because you just can't make everybody happy. I get it from both, I get stopped and get it from both sides. You're putting a note on his door about his cars, and he's explaining to me, wants me to tell him why he can't park 3 or 4 cars on his lot. So I'm seeing both sides of it, but you guys are doing a good job.
Very good.
And I've got compliments about some of the junk that you were responsible for getting rid of. So you, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Block Watch Party, Mr. Ward.
Well, we had a meeting also on the 21st, and needless to say, Courtney, it was in that storm that you was talking about.
It was what?
During that storm, and but you know what? People actually drove through the storm to get here. So I want to take tonight, and I want to thank everybody on the Block Watch for coming in during that storm, that rainstorm. I mean, it poured down the rain. And I want to recognize them, every one of them, okay? You know, these people are volunteering.
Yeah.
And you come out in a rainstorm like that,
Yeah.
you're dedicated. You're
Yeah.
totally dedicated. And I just want to thank everybody for doing that.
Yes.
And our next meeting is going to be held on it'll be the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. So, and then I'll have everything updated to that. But I want tonight to be about those guys, everybody that showed up, during that rainstorm. 'Cause they didn't have to do that, and they did.
That's
and I
great.
just want to thank them all.
That's great.
Are you guys passing out the pamphlets or anything? I thought we talked.
Yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, I had pamphlets updated today, and I've got copies of them over here, where I added on there the times for the nuisance and abatement meetings, the times for the Block Watch meetings, and the times for our council meetings. I added that to the pamphlets also. And we will be out during the weekend on the 30th, and trying to pass them out to people and talking to people. So
Good deal.
yeah.
Good deal. That runs us into festival.
Well,
Mr.
everything's
Timmons.
underway. We had our last meeting, and like I said, you can't have a festival without a cruise in and a good rock and roll trivia show. They just go together. Hey, this is automatic. And one of the things I want to stress for all the parents out there, let their kids go through the Tri-County Fire Safety House. You cannot have enough. They learn how to get down, how to get out if there's smoke or a fire. And I stress so much, it's very important to learn about this. And also, another thing they're having is the Deer Creek water safety, and they show what to do if you not to panic in water. And they're great programs to bring your children to, let them realize what we're having them there too. And also, they got the movie The Lion King, which is a good movie. And I got to pump my own horn. I said, we're award-winning rock and roll trivia show, so give us a shot and you're going to have a good time.
Very good. All right. You need to stop laughing. I got business to take care of here. Okay. That leads us to ordinances and resolutions. As you'll see in front of you, ordinance 2018-33, an ordinance amending the 2018 budget and make appropriation for current expenses, and she'll tell you why.
Okay. Well, my finance team already knows. We talked about it during our finance committee. When we create a budget, we have to create the budget for the next upcoming year with previous history's data. Okay, so you take what was the electricity, I'm going to use that as an example. What's the electricity that was expended for 2017? Okay, now of course we have a budget that we have to complete, and we can only base it upon what the history showed from that previous year. And what it showed is obviously what I predicted is that the electricity is way higher than what it was on the old water plant. So I'm having to come to council to amend the budget for the line item 5101, 531, 311 to allow me to appropriate more money, because it's averaging about $10,000 a month
For that new water plant.
operate electricity there. And we have been at half for the past couple months already. So I'm asking to appropriate and change that so that we can appropriate new monies to that line item. Any questions on that? I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
It is. It is. I didn't know, but she went back a year. That's how you determine your appropriations. You went back a year. And she has to show documentation. She just can't say, well, I looked in this crystal ball and I think the water department's going to be this much. You can't do that. They want to see it in black and white. So that's what she does. She shows them, and that's what we need to do, is pass an ordinance tonight. So I need a motion to suspend the rules for 2018-33.
You have that motion, sir?
Second.
I'll say.
Thank you. Vote.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
And Becky?
Yes.
Thank you all. I need a motion to put this on the 1, 2, and 3 reading tonight. You, yes?
Lowell?
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
Lowell?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, does anyone have any questions before I ask for a motion for passage? You all understand it?
Well, we need a motion to adopt it, but, so you think 50,000 is going to cover it? How, you don't have it in here
It was estimated at 50,000.
for the rest of the year.
Last year, basing it upon 50,000 is closely of what we spent over at the old water plant. We are probably at 100,000 by the end of the year, or even more, just for electricity.
So can we study the use of the electric? And this is electric mainly.
Well, that's what we did. So Tim Ray, the guy from Ohio Rural Water, came in, and I talked about that a couple times, about how we can, you know, put some of those pumps on idle. You know, but again, the plant's set up to run that if one pump's down, then another one sits in idle.
Right.
So think about it. If you got 3 pumps sitting there, they're all 3 sitting in idle. 2 of them are sitting in idle while one's running.
Yes.
So it's supposed to be operable that way. They're supposed to have them, once one shuts down, another one kicks in.
Okay.
So it's very hard, you know, Mr. Ray, you know, he came out here and did that whole analytical data gathering, and plus the Onyx thing. That was another thing, what you guys passed, you know, a couple meetings ago about changing that, but that doesn't help us until next year because we still have 1 year of a contract. So that we're not going to see that savings until next year.
So we have researched shutting part of it down.
Yes.
And my question was, how can I save money at that water plant? He said, well, when you leave it at afternoon, just make sure you turn the lights off.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only thing you're going to save is a light bulb in the locker room or the office.
But I had called around, because again, that kind of plant doesn't, I can't call up to Columbus and say that's the same running plant that we have down here.
Right.
So I've called other areas in Ohio that sort of have an RO plant like that to see about, you know, are there certain, you know, because we have 3 backups to a backup to a backup, you know, is there any way that we can, you know, shut part of a system down? And that's the kind of thing that, you know, I'll be talking to Tyler about and Brian about is, you know, other plants, what they do. I mean, because obviously they're in the same position we are as far as, you know, electricity. So I am looking at other options.
Is it more electric than natural gas?
Yes. Yep. But you're seeing an increase in natural gas too during the cold months. But yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot more than I think what everybody thought, oh, it's going to be savings. It's not. And I predicted that from the very beginning.
Okay.
But that's all we got.
I need a motion for passage of ordinance 2018-33.
You have that motion?
Thanks, sir. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
Hello?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We have another ordinance, 2018-34. An ordinance amending codified ordinance there and declaring emergency. She will tell you what we're going to do.
Okay. Well, from what, I'll kind of be on the coattail of what Tammy spoke about, like what she said, as part of chair, she moved up the meeting, and we analyzed in a couple meetings of all the tags that we were experiencing that are excessive. And the 2 excessive taggings that we seen the most were the parking issues, what Jack talked about last meeting at Houston Street, and obviously the cutting of the grass and you know, trash items. So the committee then made a recommendation that to amend the codified ordinance of 452-14, which stated that a vehicle has to be moved within every 24 hours. That was happening, but it seems like, yes, that our sheriff's department, that's really not their job to monitor it every single day, because again, we have different shifted people. So to make this and help the residents that don't have garage parking or driveway parking, it has been brought to a recommendation by the committee that at 3 tagging of the same vehicle for the same violation, that it will be towed on the 3rd violation at the owner's expense.
Even if they have moved an inch or 2.
Correct. Yes, because the ordinance says right now that every 24 hours it has to be moved. So at this point, if to kind of not play the cat and mouse anymore, that even though they move, because every time they would move it, another tag would be issued. Every time they moved it again, another tag would be issued. So that was the problem that we're experiencing, and again, nothing was resolved because they were just moving it every so often.
I'll give you a motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you very much. Second.
I'll second.
Vote.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
I'll give you a motion to place it on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and final reading.
Thank you very much. Second.
I'll second.
Yes, I'm voting for it.
Vote.
Tom,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Tammy.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
I'll give you a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Okay, I need a motion for passage of ordinance 2018-34. Now, does everybody understand this? This is time to ask the question if you want about the code.
This only addresses the cars that are being parked illegally or that are like have flat tires. I'm a little unclear.
That's it.
Any
all these
type of
cars.
tag.
There's cars out there that have a flat sit. The sheriff's department chalks their tires when they move it this far. Then they play the same game again. They leave it there until they're chalked again. Three times.
So you're still going to let them move it an inch, but every time they move it an inch, they're getting
better
tagged.
be moving it 24
But
hours.
if they get up to 3 tags, then
3
it's
tags, they're
automatically
towed.
towed. But here, the thing about that, when you're saying that it's unoperable, that's a different kind of
That's a
situation.
different ORC.
That's a
line.
different ordinance number.
Okay. What happened to our ID? I know it was thrown out at something about like they have to move it at least 75 feet or
The
something.
committee did discuss that, and they discussed different amount of feet. The problem that most of the committee members brought up were, okay, just hypothetically, say somebody was parked here in front of my house, where I was, and I gotta move at 75 feet. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna move it in front of
Somebody else's
Rebecca's house, and it's gonna sit there for days.
But
Then I gotta move it 75 feet, clear
On the other
again.
side of town.
right,
So
but
I'm
aren't these
saying-
just cars that are parked illegally, not just your car out front of your own?
These are
No,
cars
these are
that
all people's cars.
people are violating.
So our issue is that there's a person that lives in a house that has 6 vehicles.
Okay.
They have no driveway, no garage or anything.
Okay.
So they only have street parking, which is a public parking.
Okay.
And what's happening is that they're moving it right in front of somebody else's house because, hey, the neighbor's the one that told on me.
But they're not moving it till they know they've
Yes.
been tagged.
That's right. So we're wasting a lot of time from the sheriff's department on 6 vehicles that need to really seriously be.
I couldn't tell you how many times
Yeah.
these people have been tagged.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
And
need
they
to
just
get to the
do
point.
it to comply.
Yeah.
And then they
What I like about it is 3 strikes and you're out.
That's what I like too.
And that's just plain as day.
Do you have a question?
The old ball game. Are you finished? Questions? Questions for that? Okay, then I need a motion. Did I get a motion
Roll.
for passage?
I gave
Did-
you
he
a
gave
motion.
it
Roll
first.
call vote.
Well, I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, commenting on this, there was a person that adored us so much last year that she parked her vehicle for weeks in front of my sidewalk entrance to the street.
Were you mad?
Birds spotted it so badly. So I'm in favor of this, but the thing that I'm excited about is I don't understand why it took our solicitor so long to get this, because I've worked on it, Bill's worked on it, the council's worked on it for years,
Well,
and we never came up with this, so
we
good.
got it now.
Let's get it, and I'm voting yes for
Have a
it.
nuisance
Adoption.
abatement committee. Okay.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Yes.
Roll. Okay. Tom.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Tammy.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Now this goes into effect immediately.
Yes.
Yes.
Does.
Yeah, right
It's
now.
good news.
Now, we're going to resolutions. 2018-35, a resolution authorizing me, Mayor, to enter an agreement with Point Watch Systems for the purpose of monitoring the normal operation of treatment works, declaring this emergency. Does anyone need that explained to them? Do you understand what this resolution is?
I do, yes.
Okay, everybody does?
Okay.
All right, that's good. We'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Vote?
Lowell.
Yes.
Tom.
Abstain.
David.
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Tammy.
Yes.
And Becky.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to place this on 1, 2, and 3 readings.
Got
Thank you, Mr. A.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. Lowell.
Yes.
Tom.
Abstain.
David.
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Tammy.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, Anybody any questions before I make a motion to adopt?
I'll give you a motion to adopt.
Thank you very much. A second.
I'll give you that motion.
Thank you. Vote?
Lowell?
One comment, perhaps this point watch system will find a way to reduce some of our costs.
It does. Yep. It'll reduce hourly pay. It also reduce, hopefully it monitors the processing down there, so it's going to actually allow us to look at it remotely and identify, you know, how much chemical, you know, polymer we're using. It's kind of the same kind of setup that it's over at the new water plant. And a lot of systems are going to this because of the reduction of money.
Anybody else? Roll call vote.
Lowell.
Yes?
Tom.
Abstain.
David.
Yes.
Rebecca.
Yes.
Tammy.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Passed.
Thank you very much. Next resolution, 2018-36. This is a resolution authorizing myself, Mayor, to waive water and wastewater tap fees at the Deer Creek Run subdivision. Now, declaring an emergency. This is not a Miranda project. This one here isn't, is it?
It is.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
They're working with Miranda.
All right, then I'm thinking about the other guy.
Yeah, you're thinking about the other one.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is the phase 2.
Correct.
Okay, next to Miranda Homes.
Yep.
We did that to encourage them to develop that much quicker.
It's the same kind of plan as what phase 1 was back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So this is just an extension with 40, like Rebecca touched on, 47 lots that is going to be extended down where Wingate is. It's going to be like the entrance to the left.
So we had the water lines, or the sewer lines,
Yes.
but they installed the water lines, so we relinquished the tap fees.
Yes.
Now, I know, I don't want to get out of order on this, but what's to stop them? Well, I don't know whether they can do this or what's to stop them from charging tap fees to the buyer?
Well, what's going to happen, so in this event, from what I understand, because I asked the same thing, you know, I asked inspections, I asked, the same kind of questions that I think all of you council members would also probably have. And what will happen is there's going to be a pre-construction meeting, which basically everybody's going to come to the table. I mean, you'll have the county here, you'll have the engineering here, you'll have the contractors here, you guys as well will be here to ask all of these additional questions. But again, nothing gets voted upon or accepted without all 6 of you having this passed. Well, I mean, with, you know what I'm saying, like the percentage, 3, 4 of you, 5 of you have to pass it. So nothing will be agreed upon, nothing is going to be paid out of the village at all. So those are the same emails and questions that I think we all had when Chuck was here this past week. So again, you're not approving or anything unless it goes through you guys as council. So nothing's going to be paid out from the village at all. So I think during that construction meeting, that's where you're going to ask all those questions. And then you guys will make that determination. What do you want to charge? Does the village want to be charged anything? What about the inspections? How do we guarantee that that's not going to become our issue, 5, 10 years down the road? So those are going to be all of your questions. But again, this is only the part of it.
I need a motion to suspend the rules for 2018-36 resolution.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Vote.
Okay, Lowell?
Yes?
Tom?
Abstain.
David?
No.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to place this on first, second, and third reading for tonight. Motion to...
We'll do it.
We didn't have that.
You didn't pass it, yeah. 2, David and Tom. Yeah,
Didn't pass?
Can't do
No.
emergency.
can't be on
We
emergency.
can do first reading.
Right, okay.
We'll have to do second reading on the next meeting.
Okay, so we're gonna change, well, are we gonna do that right now?
To place it on the first, yeah.
So,
So you have to do a roll call again. Have to do a call again.
First reading then.
Yep.
Are we allowed to have any discussion about this?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to ask, like, what the problem is?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask them, like, what their objections are? No.
Our own.
Yeah.
okay, 2008-36. I need a motion to put this on the first reading.
I'll make
I'll
that
give you
motion.
that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Thank
get
you,
you.
and thank you.
Lowell, Rebecca, okay. Lowell,
Yes.
Tom,
Abstained.
David,
Still no on this.
Rebecca,
Yes?
Tammy,
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Okay.
Would now be a good time to ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah? I was just curious, just, am I allowed to ask them, like, what the objections are? I'm just curious, because maybe it's something I haven't noticed, or...
We can't hear you over here.
I had said I was just curious as to what the objections were, because maybe it's something...
Can't ask them.
You can't ask them? Oh, you said I could ask them.
No, I said we can't ask.
You said I couldn't be confrontational?
Right, we can't be questioning someone else's vote like that.
Oh.
Not that particular
Well.
question.
But I will, but I can, when I question anything, I look at this and I think the one thing that came to mind for me personally is 47 new homes could be such a huge addition, even by waiving the tap fees for water and wastewater. That's a one-time fee. I look at, in the bigger picture, how much revenue that would bring in for every single house to the water and the wastewater funds. With this one small incentive to, which even Chuck had said, which is the fellow that met with us, that this would be a nice incentive for the progression of the development. And I look at right now in our water fund and our wastewater fund, it is a little bit precarious, and I just see that with 47 homes, the revenue that we might see down the road once all those houses are built, and that this was something that we could offer that wouldn't cost the village anything. It's no money out of our pocket, which is, I think, some of the reasoning behind this legislation. That's just my comment.
We'll just table it.
That was my comment.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, we passed the first reading.
Yeah, we passed it.
We don't need to table it.
Yeah, I want to bring up my opinion here, though, but I think we need so much revenue now, and I don't see where we should waive anything, where we need money right now. That's just my opinion, you know, but
And that's
I
what
just
we're-
say that.
Okay.
So I'd say the next meeting, it goes into our second,
Yes.
it'll go to the second reading.
All right. Yes, in 2 weeks it'll go to second reading. Well, we can all talk later. I'm sure we're going to run into each other in the next 2 weeks, so we'll table that 2018-36
We're not
to the next.
tabling.
Well,
It'll be on the second
Yeah,
reading.
It'll be on
Right.
the second reading, not
right, it'll be on the
tabled.
second reading. Now, I need a resolution
First reading passed.
Question?
No. No. A resolution authorizing Courtney Bricker, fiscal officer, to create a blanket certificate for reoccurring invoiced accounts and declaring this an emergency. Questions?
I'll give you a motion to suspend the rules.
All right, I'll take that. Second?
I'll second.
Vote?
And Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you all. I need a motion to place this on the first, second, third readings tonight.
Second, lawyer.
Thank you, thank you. Vote?
Lowell?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
And Becky?
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to adopt 2018-37.
Got that motion?
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. Vote?
Lowell?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
And Becky?
Yes.
Now we'll move to resolution 2018-38. Resolution accepting a donation of $327 from CKB Sterling One Stop for the James Cotton football camp.
I
You
have
all
a question.
understand. Okay.
Really, do we need the emergency clause in there?
Yeah, because he's gonna be invoiced and using it, before the camp.
So we have
Yeah.
less than a week.
Yeah, you'll have until
Yes. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote?
Yes.
Friday. Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
I need a motion to place it on the first, second, third readings
Got that motion?
tonight. Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote?
Lowell?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-38.
Motion, I'll make that I'll second.
Who was first?
Lowell?
Big Lowell.
I have a point of discussion before we adopt it.
Okay.
We're going to get more money. Would it have been wise to have put in there, hereby accepts the donation of $327 and all future donations? Because we're going to have to do this every time.
Well, this one I think is strictly for the Parks and Rec. I would say in the future to do something like saying in all future donations. But this will be for just the Park and Rec fund.
Well, doesn't matter what the purpose is for, but if we get more money, it's going to be because 327 is not going to fund the entire camp.
No, these were for the flags, the high state flags that.
And if, like the American Legion gave us money, we had money last year, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a thought I have. So.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can check on that.
I need a motion to adopt this resolution 2018-38.
I'll make that motion,
Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
We already had an adoption.
Oh, we did. You're right. I need a roll call vote.
Lowell? Yes. Tom?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you all very much. That runs us into round table.
Bill, I got something tonight with 4th of July coming
Go
up
right
and
ahead.
everything, and this was a letter personally from Harry Truman to my father at the end of World War II, where after they had freed the prisoners from that Filipino death camp, and it was to you who answered this call, your country, and served in its armed forces to bring about the total defeat of the enemy. I extend a heartfelt thanks of a grateful nation. As one nation's finest, you undertook the most severe task one king upon to perform, because you demonstrated the fortitude, resourcefulness, and calm judgment necessary to carry out this task. We now look for your leadership and example in further exalting our country in peace. Signed, Harry Truman, President of the United States. And I made a copy of this, and in the Madison Press, the guy right there is what it was 50 cents back then too.
Really?
And I always said about their generation, they were the ones that really, Dad and my uncle, they were just two small town boys, but put in a situation which they did great. And this coming 4th of July, I just want to recognize them.
Very good. Next. Nobody?
I just had one real quick, well, two quick things.
Okay.
It's just, once again, just a big thank you to the Nazarene Church. I know that we talked about what the cleanup, but I also want to thank them for taking on that Go by the Bicycle. All that church and the members of the congregation, for the 1,500 bicycles that came in, they provided food and water and facilities, and that was a huge undertaking. We drove by a couple times and it looked like they did such a great job. They're all about community, and it's just very, very much appreciated, everything that they're doing. And for the football camp, that, like you mentioned, Kaheen is being instrumental in bringing and paying for the football camp, as is Sunoco and Sterling One Stop. And to me, it just shows that a community working together, the businesses and the great residents, really are making a lot happen in a village, and everyone's hard work is really appreciated.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else want to mouth off?
When Rebecca mentioned that, the Nazarene Church gave out 25 pounds of bananas. We thought the people would start coming at 11:15. We had our first bicyclist at 5 after 7.
Early. It was hot that day, and there were storms.
It was really great.
I have it turned off. I mean, I have
Okay.
vibrate.
I have something on roundtable.
Oh, okay.
The vote that was taken on the resolution to waive the fees, I would behoove all of us to study the original intent of this. Because the original intent was they placed the lines in. They put our lines in. But we're not relinquishing anything, because we are getting free lines and the sewer lines are already there. And so there is no relinquishing on our part.
No, there's
We're
not.
getting
We
free-
don't.
That's right.
Right.
We're getting, so study that out for the next time.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good point.
Good point. You.
Okay, I'll say something on that.
All right.
What Bill just mentioned, we are relinquishing something. We're relinquishing the fees. So you're saying, hey, don't give us money. We don't need it.
Well, if I may say, some may look at it as an incentive to bring, more people to our community. I know we've done it for different businesses and things in the past, I guess you just have to decide, if we were thinking about a $1,000 tap-in fee, let's say, so that's $47,000 that, you could construe as you're losing, but you're losing a lot more if the development decides not to come to our community. Over 47,000. No, 100.
Yeah.
100.
Look at other
1,000.
areas.
1,000. Yeah. So, you just have to kind of weigh, out which could be long, one's a short term and one's a long term. So it's just, what, if we are interested in growing the community and utilizing more of that water plant and potentially sharing the responsibility of the cost of that water amongst 47 more families.
Good point. And that's why it was put out there as an incentive. There's builders all over the state of Ohio, and there's hundreds of communities that want these builders to come and look at their property. We've been fortunate enough, we've got 3 different developers wanting to develop 3 pieces of land in our community. and that we've talked to recently, and they want to get started on it right away. So, like anything out there, every small community is trying. Depends on how hard they try to get a grant or how hard they try to get a developer to come in. That was our incentive for them to move more quickly before they decided, well, I can maybe go to Plain City and get a better deal up there, because this incentive will lower the cost of the actual lot that the house is going to be built on, was the whole intent. So, you know, I understand each and every one of you have your opinion or how you look at an issue. That's fine by me. I don't feel bad, but we really need to keep the developers as close to us as we can keep them and get them.
Stop.
Pardon?
They can stop.
Yeah, because we need more homes. We need a lot, but when it comes around and talks to you, you can't turn them away. You got to keep them close to you. So that was the whole intent of that. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more about it in the next several months about homes or apartments or development. So this is not gone away. And that's all I got to say about that. If we have more information about a builder, trust me, we're not trying to keep secrets from anybody. You know, I'm excited to come down and tell you I just talked to a man that wants to build an apartment complex on the 4th piece of ground out there. You know, I'm excited, and anything I can do to encourage him to come in here and build homes or apartments, I'm going to do it. Because, I mean, we're asking all the time, you know, is there any factories out there that need to build a plant? Well, here we are. Is there anybody who wants to build new homes? We got ground. You know, we'll make it as cheap as we can make it for you. We'll do whatever it takes to get you in here.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
I just kind of did the real quick math, and let's say it's 47 houses and they're only paying $50 a month in water. That's probably a little low, but if they were $50 a month at 47 houses, a year's worth would be over $28,000. So within 2 years, we would have more than recovered those tap-in fees, and then it just keeps going perpetually.
And
you know,
that's low because here's the thing: these are multi-family homes.
Yeah.
Which means that they are averaging from $230,000 to $280,000, which means that not one person's going to live there. There's probably at least 3 bedrooms that they're going to be building on this. So, like you said, that's low, but then you also take in the RETA. So if any of you council members have any questions, that's just water. You got sewer to be added on
my
there,
priority, though,
plus you got RETA tax.
My priority, though, I think we need a grocery store for us till we start going for more homes. Because I see senior citizens every day living on Little Debbie snack cakes and stuff until we get one.
I mean, we can't guarantee that the grocery store is going to come in. We can guarantee that a development comes in because they're coming to us. And I guess that's my opinion on it.
if we had a grocery store developer, I am quite sure come to us and ask for a similar incentive, that would be top priority, because this town does need that. But, a bird in the hand.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this for the first members of the squad. Well, there's a squad name. We talked about it a long time ago. I gave Dave paperwork of all the original two squads. There's only 6 left out of 17. And instead of Max Porter being on that squad day, it should have been the whole first squad. So we all started just for the Max itself. We started an old junky garage out here by the church. They said we talked about it, and I haven't heard nothing about it in 2 years. I sent a piece of paper to him with all the original crew. Some of what's left is asked about it. And I told him I'll go up and check it out and see what's going on.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got any questions or comments?
I have one quick thing to say, and I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but a pastor here in town just passed away who's been serving the community, I think, for about 30 years.
Denzel?
Denzel, right, just passed away. And I believe the services are Wednesday at the Free Will. And yeah, he was a good guy.
We mentioned that at our patriotic service about him last night. He was a Marine, and like I said, when he got up to heaven, he said the loudest amens I ever heard. So he was a great man.
Very good. Anybody else? We're adjourned. Thank you all very much. Thank you, sir, for your input.
Hey, you take care of yourself. Always good talking to you.
Me too, Dave. I'm going to turn that air down. Yes, sir.
I couldn't understand the stage.
I couldn't understand him either.
Trying to trick me, aren't you?
Yeah, you take care of that.
That's where I would go back to. It's not up to us.
Yeah, I know. That's what I didn't know what to say.
They're not asking us to relinquish any money.